Hey,
Hey, Dan.
I didn't have time to change into a suit, I'm afraid. Hey,
Hey, Dan.
got the light, how are you?
I'm very well. Tired?
Yes,
You're good.
that's good. Tired because you worked hard?
Yeah. So, tired not in a bad way. Tired in a good way. Energy levels like super high. We we've got two projects on the go. The two projects are coming to a finish. One will be finished tomorrow. One will be finished Friday, and then we're gearing up for two more really nice big projects starting Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, it's a transition phase between finishing one or finishing two really nice projects
Yeah.
and then moving on to the next two. So it's not bad tired. It's just lots going on to make sure everything's finished, everything's starting. So yeah.
Same here, and I haven't even finished a big project. I think we've got 6 days left in it. But we had to roll over to the next project because I couldn't keep on pushing him back. So that was a tricky call to make, but sometimes you just have to make it. Hopefully, we're going to have some help coming on board soon to kind of yeah, tie in all those loose ends. It's been a crazy start of the year for us here, and we're going to change things we do in the business as well. So tonight is going to be really. I think I'm going to learn lots tonight, what I'm really excited about. And yeah, it's just been mental this week already. And it was really good to catch you at the Pro
Yeah,
Landscape. I had
lovely.
such a good time, such a good time. It was an amazing event as well. Some beautiful people in the industry. It was my first event ever, and I just enjoyed it so much. I went full brace, and I let my hair down as well, so it felt quite nice to
It's a so my experience is it's just such a lovely industry that everyone seems to want to help each other. Everyone wants to like kind of learn off each other.
yeah.
Wants to help. Yeah, it's so nice to catch up
I
with
mean,
them.
our table we had like so many people from the APL on the table,
Yeah, we
and
had Phil Tremaine and
yeah,
Holly, which is like the head of the
but like
APL. Yeah,
people that run their own businesses as well, big and stuff like that. So it was quite interesting for me because, like I've been sharing recently, I want to get rid of the garden maintenance. But we were sitting next to I forget his name. I'm terrible with names, but he owned a garden business in London, and he said, you know, you should keep it, and just got lots of learning, and he's having the same problem as I have running a small gang of lads doing maintenance when he's running like 150 people. The same problems, recruitment, tools, maintenance, vans, it's all similar but on different scales.
but
So
I think this is the key thing, which is going to be huge for everyone tonight, is that so I've just started working with Nick. I think we're like 2 months in now.
yeah,
Um, if and before I met Nick, my philosophy, my thing was always do simple, perfect. Get your foundations right first. And I think, as you're saying, all the problems people have is you need to have the foundations first before you progress. And I've got to the point now of having a couple of teams. Um, and yeah, I need to get off the tools and work on the business
yeah.
before I make that next step. So yeah, I'm super excited for. Should we get one?
I reckon so. Let's get Nick Ruddle involved. Hopefully it works fine this time round, because we have tried before, haven't we? But fingers crossed. Um, but yeah, I think like you were saying tonight, making those calls of working on your business. I'm sure we're going to hit it. I'm just trying to,
Yeah,
maybe do a little start on it. Like, how do you work on your business whilst doing everything else? So how many hats does a business owner wears? And I've been listening to this book and really interesting. So you wear the hat of the manager because you're managing your team and you're managing your work and your customers' expectations. You're wearing the hat of the entrepreneur because you started your business, you've got those fresh ideas, you're going to do this and you're going to tackle this and you're going to offer this service, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got the doer, the guy that actually delivers the product. And it's how you manage all those people, or at least all those hats in your business, and how do you wear them and how do you manage them. And you know, if you're too much of an entrepreneur, it's going to be messy. If you're too much of a manager, you don't have the new ideas coming in. And if you're too much of a doer, you ain't focusing on all the rest, so things crumble down. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait. So I mean, yeah, is he not coming on?
It's a back and forth sort of fun war. He's trying to join and I'm trying to send.
Well, maybe if he if
we got a really good question from my good friend Harvick Core. He said, if you could change one element of your business this year, what would it be?
So
that's a really good question.
Yeah, that is quite hard. That. So if you were to change one element of your business, what would it be? Wow. Oh man, I would change so many, I think, right now. So I would change the way I structure the, how do you say? I would change the way I structure my working day. So at the moment, I'm doing far too much labour. Although I'm enjoying the skill and stuff like that, I think what I need to change this year is have more of the manager hat that I was talking about, and flying from job to job, and allowing my staff to evolve and do the job that I ask them at a high standard, and then I can focus on the fiddly bits that I really enjoy doing. So that means, because like you were saying, Adam, like your goal is to get away from the tools and to manage and run the business, yes?
Yeah.
So that's your goal. So my goal is similar, but not quite the same. So I don't want to step away from the tools. I just don't want to do it. It's not something I'm ready to do, but what I need to change is stepping away from the tools, the mundane tool. Can I say it like that?
It's not, I wouldn't say it's fully stepping away. But it's just knowing when to push and pull. And if you can have on a Thursday, if you can stop at 1 o'clock and spend those 3 hours between 1 and 4 and working on your business.
Yeah.
So you've worked on the tools the rest of the week, but you need to find that time. Because like for me, I'm working on the tools. We'll leave the house at 6:30. I'll get back at 5, and I'm doing emails in the evening, and then working in the weekends. If you could find the time in the week to stop midday to go back and do this, you're not fully pulling off. But I think you need to find the time in the week to pull off, let the guys work, to do this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be in a never-ending cycle.
What I want to say on that is not stepping away from the tools. It's totally that, and is picking what tools I'm doing. Does that make sense? Instead of, you know, shoveling this amount of dirt and doing this and doing all of the hard grafted, not all the hard graft, but all of the labour and all of that, I need to have staff doing that.
So you're saying recruiting guys that you can upskill, but guys that are going to do more of the physical stuff, which allows you to do more of the skilled thinking, the setting out, all that sort of stuff.
And blah blah blah. So and hopefully we can have more than one project running, and you know, you kind of have that motion going. Oh, I hope it doesn't happen again.
I've sent I know he's watching this and listening to this. I've sent him invites.
Can I invite him without
if you can, it just says he isn't able to join.
He's unable to join.
He keeps saying so. I'm sending him invites, and he's trying to.
Yeah.
It's so not. It's what's frustrating is that this is going to be so right. I'm pressing invite now,
Yeah.
but above like so our best one was Mark Lane last time, which was amazing. Mark was superb. But Nick will be such a huge benefit to
Is it worth
the.
sorry to cut you. Is it worth if Nick updated his Instagram? I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Does it need?
Is there updates?
Pardon?
Is there updates? Will that affect it?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we haven't had any issues, so I'm just trying to think of something. But yeah. Yeah, and see, I mean, it's always hard, isn't it? No, it's going to happen again. I can sense it. He said he'll try. He'll try. Okay, so let's let Nick Ruddle update his Instagram. We'll try in a bit.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Justin said, "What happens if Nick hosts it?" Cheers, Justin.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea.
Nick, you listening? Give us a thumbs up.
Nick, if we come off the live and you start the live and invite us, that means you'll have the footage as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully he sends it quicker than I did. But no,
we can't not. This is going to be such a like heavy, really good.
Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to post tonight. I'm going to post last live we did with Mark Lane, and I just want to say thank you to him as well, because that podcast really hit home with me. He's got a fantastic business, a fantastic head on his shoulder. He's very calm. He's just got something. He's mature. I think because he's 40 maybe. And we're youngsters. We're only 30, aren't we, Adam? In our 30s.
He's one of those guys. He's so friendly and so wanting to help.
Yeah, but he's super calm. Super calm. Yeah. He's like down to earth, isn't he? Just a down to earth bloke. His wife is lovely as well. Like a nice little wife and husband combo. But I will put it on my YouTube. Oh wow. Here we go.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ridiculous. Did you update your Instagram?
Yeah, but then I was trying to request to join and it was just saying not sent, your request not sent, not sent. So when you just sent that, you sent it back. It actually works. So. Oh my god. Technology, great when it works.
Yeah, maybe you need a business coach on technology.
Mate, I'm fine with technology, honestly. No, I'm pretty good like that, and a lot better than a lot of other people. But honestly, from this side, I was going accept, and then nothing happened, just like last time. But it's a good suggestion.
To happen again.
But anyway, here we are. Finally. Let's hope it's worth the wait, eh?
Yeah, no, that's it. That people have been waiting a few weeks now.
For this. I know. Bigging it up too much, I think.
Adam and I are really excited. You know Adam quite well. Because
very well.
You've worked with him, so you've
got
that level of understanding. We've met once in person. I've had you on the phone, and stuff like that. But can you explain to the people that are going to watch it and watching tonight, and for the people watching in the future, what's your service and a bit about you?
Yeah, well, I've been an action coach, business coach the last 16 years. For those of you who don't know, Action Coach was actually the first business coaching company in the world. So the founder, Australian chap called Brad Sugars, invented the term business coaching back in 1993. Now, most people know what business coaching is. So over the last 16 years, I've coached in every kind of industry. Now I specialise in landscaping, but you know what? The same challenges. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, everyone has the same problems. So yeah, I do one-to-one coaching. We've got a load of group coaching and 12-week online trainings that are being released month on month. And done loads of seminars for all the major banks and accountancy firms, probably over 150 live events and 60 odd different planning days and sales workshops, all that kind of stuff. But what I find, doesn't matter what industry you're in, people are really good at what they do, and they spend years getting their knowledge up to here on what, you know, the operational stuff, especially the landscapers. They've got such a passion for what you do. It's brilliant. I love the industry. I love the people. It's so different to all the other industries I've been in. That's why I really like, and that's why I chose to get into landscapers. But we need to get your business knowledge in line with, you know, your operational knowledge. You need to spend, how many hours, how many years do you spend learning your craft?
Yeah.
But the challenge is you've got to make money from it. And if you don't build your business knowledge and know your numbers and how to systemize, how to recruit people, how to make, you know, the right kind of culture and build that culture, how to do sales, how to do marketing, leadership management, then you're going to struggle. And I think people struggle unnecessarily because they just don't have the tools in their business tools box. They've got all the tools, you know, for the operational stuff. But when you know how to do something and you learn how to do it properly, life becomes easier because you're better equipped to do a good job with better knowledge and better tools, and you'll make better decisions. What I find most people do is they sort of fail their way to success, and sometimes the success doesn't come because they either burn out or they go bust or they lose relationships or lose the will to live. You know, and it doesn't need to be that way. I think, you know, just start by reading a book. Something like The E-Myth is the first book we give to everyone all around the world and have done from day one.
I've literally started listening to it at work today.
Yeah.
And I said to Adam, didn't I, Adam?
I thought Nick would recommend it to you, but you found it on your own.
Okay, so my customer, Sam Pryor, that I've done the job for the big one, he said, listen to this book, because he's a businessman. And he's used me as a service, and as a businessman, he's seen things that he thinks I should do differently. You know, like, because he's built a very good business, and I think we got on quite well on a personal level. And he said, "Els, listen to this book." And I started today, and I mean, I'm only 2 hours in, and I'm going to call it the hats. So as a business, I think that in the book he calls it being an entrepreneur, a manager, and I forgot yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So and it's like that management, and honestly today, although it's hard to listen to because it's not, you know, it's not music, it's super informative, so you have to concentrate. Those 2 hours were amazing. Like, I can see straight through the cracks of my own business 10 years down the line. So yeah, definitely that book is a must. I think we should put it in.
I was just replying. So Bobby the Chippy just asked what book it was. I've just messaged back saying it's called The E-Myth.
The E-Myth Revisited. It's the Revisited. I've got it.
Really
I can send a link to everybody who wants it, and I'll just send them a link, or however you want to do it. I'll send you the link. You send it to people. Put it
on the stories after.
Yeah, and you can just download it. Honestly, the whole thing about that book is that you look at your business in a different way. So you don't go to work a job in your business. You go to work on your business. So there's an end goal. So I always say, one of the first things I say to people when for the very first conversation, it's what does your business look like when it's finished? And they go, well, finished? What are you on about? You know, they start a business because they enjoy it, and then it becomes a bit of a bind, and a bit, you know, lose passion and fall out of love with it. But eventually, if you've got an end goal, then at least you're working towards something. And that book tells you how to go from being the technician to how to build a business that actually works without you. And that's the whole ethos of Action Coach as well.
I was listening to Gary Vee says this week about that your employees don't work for you, you work for your employees. So if you have that mindset of you work for your employees, you've got to make their day enjoyable. That completely changes things.
Yeah, well, that's the same as what Richard Branson says. He says the sole job of the owner is to just look after the team. So recruit them well in the first place, induct them well, train them, give them the tools, give them the environment, give them the culture, give them everything they need, because it's the team's job to look after the customers, to make the sales, do the work, take, you know, the complaints, whatever it is, and it's the customer's job to pay the business back in terms of cash, and the business's job to pay the business owner back in time and cash. So all you did is just focus on building a great company to attract the right people, and then, you know, recruit them, look after them, you know, wrap them in cotton wool when you get good ones, because you know how hard it is to get, you know, good staff, and
So,
pay them the best,
so would you,
best payer in the industry, because if you pay the best, you'll attract the best.
yeah,
And why would anyone else want to leave to go anywhere else?
Yeah.
yeah.
People,
Would you
people
say
try to
there's like
save
a
money.
would you say there's like a one most important thing that people should be doing or they should know, or is it dependent on their circumstance? Is there like a, okay, this is the first thing, this is the number one thing everyone should be concentrating on? Is there a number one, or is it circumstantial?
I think two of the most important things, and they may surprise some people. The first one probably won't surprise many people, but financial knowledge, you know, money mastery, understanding your numbers, understanding the language of finance. Because if you don't understand the difference between gross profit and net profit and break even, then you get serious problems, because you're just plucking, you know, figures out of the sky without really knowing what's the right thing to do. And people just say, oh, I don't know, I shy away from it because maybe they weren't very good at maths at school, or they just don't understand it and it's quite scary. But actually, within the second session that I always do with clients, as you know, Adam, I'll do first one about time study, get your time right. The second session we have is about explaining to you, really, like literally teaching you how to suck eggs. And at the end of the hour, you get it, and it's right, now it makes sense. And then you think, oh my god, do analysis, look at your numbers, put them into this break-even calculator that I have, and it tells you exactly where you are, good or bad. You know, good, bad.
I think the problem with business owners that start a business, it's like you were saying, they start it based on their skills and what they're putting on the table. So if you're, you know, a good landscaper, or you're a good baker, or you whatever you're offering, that's what you're putting on the table. So you kind of plow forward with the product or the service, and you kind of let, you know, because it's not of interest, or it's not where your skill carries your product, it kind of, you know, that route of money and accounts doesn't get looked after like delivering the product. So I think it starts a business having a great product, but then to carry and to still keep on going, you need to find the route to the margins and to in theory, as a beginner start business, it's the boring stuff. But as you grow your business, it becomes the most important part of it.
Yeah, it's often the most scary, but it's the most important. And you end up loving numbers, because when you become better at it, and you go, oh, make that change. Oh wow, what a difference that makes.
And you're building data, and you're making.
It's
those
not actually as
research.
hard and as scary as people think. It really, really isn't. It really isn't. But once you understand it, the decisions you make off the back of it, and the things you'll identify that are going wrong, you can change it quickly. Because if you don't know your numbers, it might not be the sexiest, but you'll have no business. Because if you think about it, the reason, or one of the most important things you need to do in business is make a profit. And people say, oh, no, it's not all about that. It's not about profit. Well, it is. Because if you don't make a profit, you go bust, and there is no business, you know. So the second.
That was the thing with me. I was almost there, and it's funny. I'd say I'm a quarter of the way there, or maybe like 25-30% of the way there. And there's people that have spoke to me for advice and stuff, and I'm charging £200 a day rate. Why? That's just industry standard. And then when they worked out their overheads, they should be charging like £350 per man a day, or £300 per man a day, for example. They're losing like £200 a day because they haven't worked out their overheads. They're just charging like an industry figure that they've plucked.
I want to hit on that, because I think that's really interesting, Adam, because I think a lot of young landscapers, or even people that have done it for years, don't really appreciate the value of their time. So they just think like the only way to earn money is to go to work for a day, and you get your day rate and blah, blah, blah. And as well, for young landscapers, having that confidence, because obviously you're trying to grow a business. It's good for, you know, Adam and I, you've got plenty of work coming in, I do. And my prices reflect the fact that I'm busy as well, you know, and I have that, that ability to charge a decent day rate. But for a young guy, how can we explain this, Nick? For a young guy who hasn't got the reputation, hasn't got the workload that we both have, right? How do you say to him, okay, just put your prices up? But you've always got this battle of that, you know, but I don't have enough work and I'm worried. And, you know, I think maybe when you start that conversation, that's probably a lot of what you're going to get back, maybe. What do you think?
I think before anyone goes into business, what they should do, maybe in hindsight, people will probably agree, you've got to educate yourself. Most people I speak to, I say, how many books have you read on business? And they might have been in business 2, 3, 5, 10 years. And they said, never read a book on business. So you can't underestimate the power of knowledge. And if you keep doing what we've always done with the poor sort of financial knowledge or business knowledge that you've always had, you'll keep getting the same results. And people just sort of making decisions and hoping that this works. And there's no science behind it. And then you suffer and you work, you feel like you said, you have to work every hour under the sun and just to work harder. But you go into business not to have a job in your own business, really. You know, you want to own a business, not have a job in your business. And if you're part of a job, then the business doesn't grow. And people get to a point with a certain amount of knowledge, maybe do 300, 400, 500 grand's worth of turnover. But then, and this is often when I start working with people, they just think, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I need help. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to get to that next level, but I'm stuck on the tools. And there's a solution for all of it. There really is. But it's just because people don't have the knowledge. So you need to have financial knowledge. You need to have financial acumen, commercial awareness. But the second thing that I think is the most important thing, which people don't realize, and I didn't even realize how important it was until maybe 4 or 5 years of coaching companies, there was a common theme. And it comes down to the company's core values. If you think about it, your values, or your, whatever you want to call them, your culture statement, whatever they are, or the rules of the game, it's basically like the 10 commandments, if you like. This is who we are. This is our identity. You know, we are a team of committed people. We're team players. We have can-do attitudes. We have fun. We strive for excellence, high quality, and that's what basically creates your identity. And if you don't have values and you just recruit people, if those people have not got shared values, that's when you have issues. And think about past relationships you've had. Why are you not with those people anymore? It's probably because at a fundamental level, you're not quite aligned. So what's important to you is not as important to them, and that causes issues. So when you recruit people using sort of the right character traits and the values that from the very first moment they'll have any contact with you, which is usually the job advert, you need to be talking to those people. You know, this job, you know, this is for someone who's, you know, got high attention to detail, loves teamwork, you know, really, really passionate about what you do. You've got a great positive attitude. You know, attitude is everything. Even if they don't necessarily have the skills, you know, if they've got the right attitude and they're willing to learn, they'll become great assets to the business. And when you recruit them, and then all your questioning in your interviews and how you screen them, and the sort of multiple levels of filtration that you have by following a proper process, a recruitment process, all of a sudden you're left with people that are actually the right kind of person fit for your organization. Yeah. And maybe they'll go somewhere else and they'll flourish because maybe that other company have different values and maybe that works well for them. So I think if you don't get the right people on the bus, if you don't know your numbers, obviously that's, you know, you're doomed really from the start. Because if you try and get busier and get more work, just if you're operating at a loss already, just go bust quicker. But then when you get the people, how important, everyone on this call will know when you've got a great person, what a massive difference, what an asset they become. But also, if you get crap people, you get poor people, and unfortunately, there's a lot more poor people or average people. They're just a constant headache, and you don't need to suffer that. But then people don't have the management skills, the leadership skills to be able to, you know, train them and nurture them and coach them and mentor them. And some people are not really that committed. They don't have the desire to want to learn. But you want to attract the right kind of people, and then business is much, much easier.
I think sometimes in business as well, a lot of business owners make that very quick decisions. So, you know, if someone leaves, I need to replace them. Yeah. I have so much work, I need to replace them. You grab the first guy that comes in.
Yeah, you've got heartbeat, leg, working arms.
Yeah.
You've got the job.
Yeah, okay, he's got, yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah. He can talk English, he can go, let's do it, you know. I can teach him the ropes. We'll make it work. And I've had this mentality over the years that we'll make it work. I have to work. I have to do. When actually now I'm taking my time. You know, we've lost, and this is going personal in my business, so we've lost a number of staff, and normally I would straight away replace them. I would be, that's it, I'm replacing them, and you kind of move because in our industry it's a high turnover because it's a young man's game, and people do their own businesses, and I think it's quite a high turnover. So I'm used to it, but this time I didn't replace them. Something wasn't right. I need to take my time. I need to change things to then grow again. And I think you're right.
What's interesting is I was at the other end of the spectrum last year. Is that and a lot of people said, "Oh, Adam, you're an idiot." What you like? It was like a couple of us, and like, you need more staff. Just take on anyone. And I've always said, like, no. I was very strict that people had to, if they're applying, they had to fill out a questionnaire, because it's not just someone that just wants a job. If they're happy to fill out a 20-question questionnaire, it's someone that's half interested at least. But my mistake is opposite. It's like the parallel end to Els, is that I took on too many people that were really interested but had no skill. So I ended up with having really passionate people, but I was a skilled person. So you need to find somewhere in the middle of and have that order of not just taking on anyone, which Els was doing, but not taking on not doing what I was doing. Take on too many passionate people. You need to have the skill, or do it slow, or introduce them slowly. That's what I'm doing now. Is that introducing? So I've got 2 teams. And I won't bring on more than 1 new person at a time, because that new person has to integrate for like a month, 2 months, and then perhaps I'll bring on someone else, because you can't bring on like 2 or 3 people at the same time. It's just too many new people. The new person needs to get used to the values, how the business works. It needs to integrate, and then you can bring the next person on, so that the cycle just still continues.
Yeah. I think one good rule of thumb to live by with recruiting people is, the principle is recruit slow, hire fast. So what that means is, let's say you want to catch a really rare fish, right? And you go fishing, and you whack your bait in there. You know, you've got to be really lucky that fish happens to be swimming along just when you want it, just when you need it. So with recruitment, you know, it's the same. So when that fish does come, wait, be patient, be patient, be patient. When it comes, whip it out. Because you think about it, when you need that person, when you're really desperate, that's when you start taking people on that you know that you really shouldn't, but it's the best of a bad bunch. And then it just repeats. So I think one thing is just to keep always have your jobs running, have your ads running, and don't just accept, you know, what you get, but just wait, and then get them. But to attract the best, you've got to be the best. So great.
Would you say that same as much as we're trying to advertise and trying to promote ourselves on Instagram for clients, you're also trying to promote yourselves to potential employees?
Definitely.
So it's not
be an attractive company. You've got to build the culture, build the values, pay well, you know, train them, show that you will invest in people and that you're a great company and you're going places, and then you'll attract the best. But you can't try and attract 5-star people if you've got a 3-star service. So you have to work on the business as well. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. But that I suppose makes you focus. Right, how can we be the best? So the thing I always say is, like, 5-star. Just think 5-star. Think, where are we not 5-star in our business, or where do we need to be 5-star? When I first go on a website, is that a 5-star website? Is it shouting 5-star project? Is it when they phone up? Are you sort of on the tools? All right, yeah. Or is someone answering that phone saying, "Hi, Utopia Landscapes, you know, Nicole speaking, how can I help?" You know, so that very first impression, so the very first contact has to be 5-star. You know, the quality of the work has to be 5-star. The vans have to look 5-star. Every touch point needs to be 5-star, because you're not just attracting the right clients, but you are attracting, like you say, Adam, you're trying to attract the best people, and then you have to pay them the best people. It's a bit of a false economy. They think, oh, I can't pay for, I don't know, let's say 30 grand for a particular position. Oh, I'll go for 25. But who are you going to attract? You're going to attract those people. And really, you want to be known as the most expensive, because you'll attract the best, and they won't want to leave. But you've got to be attractive.
And after it's making that jump by, I'm paying my staff well, I can charge well.
Well, you have to.
because
Build it into
actually
your
I
costs.
got great
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm not worried putting £300 a day
Yeah.
for this guy because he's top notch. You know,
But you've got to know your numbers then, haven't you? You can't make those decisions if you don't really, truly understand your numbers, because you think, I could never afford that. But if you know your numbers and you know what your fixed costs are, what your variable costs are, you work it into the figures. And if it comes out, quite expensive, then you put your prices up, or look at other efficiencies so you can get your gross margin.
Well, I think there's a huge misunderstanding, confusion, because I had someone that wanted to work for me, bought into the company, loved the company, and I said to him how my business works is that the more value you can provide, the more I pay you, the same as with the clients. So I said, right, he was going to run projects. I'll be very transparent. I said, right, we're starting at 36. I'm going to look to put you on 42, possibly 46 if you're doing all the ordering, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, how can you afford that? I was like, what? He completely ignored what I was offering. I was offering the whole package. He really liked us, but because he runs his own business, he couldn't understand how I could afford to pay him. Although I was offering to pay him that, he was like, how do you afford that? Because it's worked into my costs. Yeah. Because I know you're going to be a very valued part of our team. You're going to be providing a great service to the clients. And there was the first time it hit me, like, there must be something that people don't understand. Why is he asking me how I can afford that?
Isn't that
Surely
interesting? Isn't that interesting? Because you said he running his own business, hence why he's looking for a job, because his business is not working. So he's like, how do you do that? Because he doesn't understand the numbers in his business. So he's applying for a job with you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I think as well, I mean, I don't know in your area, but we kind of have like a standard between landscapers. We know what's the going rates for skilled workers and labourers. It's not just like, obviously, you pay what you want to pay them, and if you think they're high value, you're going to pay them well. But where I live anyway, we have kind of like a unwritten, we know what kind of, because most of the staff go around, landscapers know, all the young lads that work with other landscapers, because it probably worked for you one, I mean, look at them, you got Steve that used to work for me, like staff will float about, and I think it's great that we are talking about it, because without staff we're nothing. We're just a sole trader going out in our vans working. So they're the bane of my life, but they're the most important assets we have to our businesses. So I think it's great when you hear something like what Adam said, say this guy came in and you do well, you can be on 36. Right, so some people travel to London to earn that kind of money. Like, to do landscaping, it's amazing. It's great that you value that. So no, fair play to you, Adam.
Yeah, but I think you got to know your numbers. You do have to understand your numbers, and if your numbers are coming out and I don't know if they're not the right numbers because you've got too many costs in your business or whatever, then you need to be able to rework the numbers, understand the sort of the mechanics of the finance, so that you can be competitive still and be able to charge and attract the right kind of people.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
What would you say?
Based on nothing.
Yeah. No, sorry. I was just going to say, what would you say is the most common mistake
in what
that you in business and landscaping? What's up there in the top?
I think undercharging maybe, and as a result of not maybe knowing the numbers, but thinking, I couldn't possibly charge that, because we have a lot of mental baggage, a lot of head trash that with our relationship and our perception of money and lack mentality, and a lot of people who have been brought up with parents that say, oh look, money's the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, and money's tight, and that then translates into your business life. Oh wow, no, someone pay that. I've got a client who's got this brilliant client. I mean, I've never seen a client, a domestic client, so much. I think the first phase is £1 million, and they've got another 600 or 700 grand to go on top over the next 6 months or 8 months. But they've just placed an order, which I think I told you to. They placed an order for garden furniture for £100,000. The client went, yeah, okay, there's 50% deposit straight away. And my client's got a 20% commission from the supplier. Doesn't even see the product. Just basically gives an order. They fulfill it. They deal with it, and that's it. So how that would challenge you? Yeah, why is that possible?
Yeah.
But a lot of these people are like
It's funny you
professional
said that.
footballers. Their clients are like professional footballers. A lot of them.
Is it?
And there's
Is
different
it?
worlds.
Is it imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that. A lot of it's self-sabotage
Yeah.
based on deeply held views of yourself, like really, really sort of well-trodden paths in your thought process, your beliefs, your values, and you have to challenge. You have to really challenge us, and that's what I've got everyone, as you know, Adam. You know,
And I think if people understand that if at the moment, say they're charging £180 a day, and they've been charging that last 6 months, and they look at the figures, and instead of £180, they should be charging £220 a day. They're going to know that we're losing £40 a day.
back to front. But this book here,
Yeah.
that book there, I've also got that in audio book. If anyone wants that, this one deals with exactly that. Who wants to be the most expensive? Someone has to be the most expensive. Why not make it you? Unbelievable book. Unbelievable book. And it talks about the head trust and why every business owner at some point, or when they start, from whatever country you're talking about, in whatever industry, there's a reason why you think, oh, I can't charge that, I can't. It's deep-rooted sort of core, just in who you are. It's just how we've been programmed up to this point. But if someone, you go on Amazon and get that book,
Yeah.
or Audible
Cool.
to get that book, honestly, every single client I now give that to. I think all of our clients obviously done the E-Myth, but this is now the second one I give people. This is now the second one because if you get that wrong, you're always going to struggle. But that tells you, right? Yeah, you don't have to be necessarily the most expensive. I'll put a caveat on that, but you've got to be at the top end because the benefits of making profit are so much better for you, because not only do you have a better life as a business owner, but you can afford to invest back into your company. You can afford to pay the best wages. You can afford to buy the best machinery, the best tools. You can afford to give bonuses. You can afford to take them out for team days or Christmas. But if you're always tight, it's going to slow down the progress of your business. With one client,
I can't agree more with what you both said. I think like as long as your product is like top notch, the pricing needs to reflect that. You can't just go willy-nilly and put your prices up thinking it's going to work for you. But make sure the product is top notch. Make sure the pricing reflects that, because if not, they're not going to believe you're top notch in some ways.
No.
You'll come in, you're too cheap. Like, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And as well, I would say on costing is margins on material. I get a lot of messages on social media. What do you put on your materials? And we work it in so many ways, and it's kind of this we don't really talk about it openly, because I think it's like putting money where you shouldn't, but that is a misconception. You are well in your rights to put a margin for your time to order the materials, the time that you building relationship with suppliers, blah, 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 blah. So on our raw material, we have 20% flat out, because I use the same suppliers. My price is bang on, and actually, even if I had 20%, the customer would go to the same supplier and pay more.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee that. And then, on big orders, so let's say you got 50 grand of patio, we don't put 20%, because that's stupid, and we don't want to take the customers for a ride. We're honest working people. So on very big orders, we might just put 4%. But and that's how we do things. I'm sure I can still learn from that, but that's how we valued our customers. And if they ask me, I'm more than happy to tell them. But it's important to have those in place as well, because you can't just make money off.
As you said, the main thing, and what that book is really good at repeating, is that almost every chapter it says the quality has to be there.
Yeah.
The first thing is the quality of the work has to be there, regardless of anything else. The first point is the quality. The work has to be good, and then we talk on about profit, and then we talk about charging a bit more. But yeah, the bottom line is you have to be good enough. So if you're not, let's work on upskilling. Let's work on let's get us to that point. When you're at that point, then have the conversation. But yeah, you're right. You can't just charge silly prices, or you can't just charge whatever you want until you've got to the point of good reputation. You do really good work. So anyone that's listening, work up to that, and then have that conversation. But it's a reputation.
Overnight, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it takes time to put everything in place, doesn't it? It takes time to build a 5-star business, and that's what I said earlier about. Yes, you want to charge 5-star prices, and that's where you want to get to. But if you look at your business now and you did a little bit of an audit, right, where is it 3-star, 2-star, 4-star? You know, okay, well, I need to get those up, because you can't charge 5-star prices if your product or service is 3 or 4 star. That's when people feel like they're not getting value for money and they're being ripped off. But it's a good incentive for you to think, right, we want to get to that point, because until we get to that point, we can't charge these kind of figures. You know, we're not going to.
I'd also argue it's not just the product. The product's in the middle. It's the pre-care and aftercare. That's the service. Not only does the product, it's part of the So it's the before, the pre-care and the aftercare, as well as the product has to be good.
Yes,
everything has to be.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, Adam, I must admit, man, like he's got it nailed. The how he looks after his customers, the journey, the everything, is quite inspiring, because he goes above and beyond. It's just on point, and I think it works well for you. And I've learned a few things, how I'm kind of like approaching the stages of, you know, giving the quotes out differently in person. We're going to start this new. Giving a quote with the design, talking with materials and textures, and I love that idea. With my wife, we were always like too scared. We want them to sit down and look at the number and take it all in. But actually, you want to explain the number. Yeah. You don't want them to look at the number and freak out. Yeah. So, you know, and I think that's learning. I've done it 10 years, man. Like, I'm learning that now, and I've got the confidence to say I'm going to go with the quotes in a nice little folder, and you know, all the information is going to be there, and I can back it with just my love and landscaping. Do you know what I mean?
But this is the thing, and this is what I want to, what me and Els are trying to do with this podcast, is trying to share knowledge. Is that I learned that from someone that's a very, very close, good friend that's been in the industry for like 30 years. And they gave me that one little bit of snippet, and that completely. So I've been doing this for like the last year and a half, 2 years, presenting estimates and quotes. It's complete. My win rate has gone up so high, because you're allowed. So I go around and present all of my quotes, and you're given like, so many people saying, well, "Why are you wasting your time?" Because you're allowed to sit down with the client, go through stuff. Why does this cost this? Oh, because this. And you can either value engineer it and sort of work it out so it's more to their budget, or you can add more details. I think gone are the days of just like emailing off a quote, because the client's just going to look at the figure and go, oh no. If there's no explanation, if there's no person there to talk through it.
If you're talking of projects, anything above 30, 40, 50, 100, you know, 150 grand, I think if I was spending that money, I'd value someone coming to me.
Well, that's the thing, that's 5-star service, isn't it? Because you'd expect that. But I think people, but from the other side, sort of some beliefs is that, oh no, I feel a bit too like pushy, and I put them under pressure, as opposed to thinking, I'm going to, you know, give you the service. I'll answer any questions you've got, any concerns you've got. I'll talk to you about it. Do you like this? What about this? Here's alternatives. Is that too much? Right, let's get a different product. And that's really helping them to make the best decision. But people think, oh no, it's a bit scary. I don't want to put them under pressure. I'll just send out a load of quotes and see what comes back. Some people don't even follow them up on the phone. I had a client years ago, Top End Kitchens in Cambridge, and we did we tested and measured their conversion rates. So their conversion rates were 26%. So out of all the quotes they sent, just 26%. And these were like 100 grand kitchens, 80, 70, 80, 100 grand kitchens. So real top end, good quality stuff. So what we suggested, way before I think Zoom was even invented, but we got them on a go-to-meeting call, you know, like this, you know, but you know, like a Zoom equivalent, and said, look, I've got your quote ready. what I'd like to do is I'll send it to you the day before, but let's stick a date in the diary now. When you come back from work, whether it's the husband or wife or both of them, then we'll jump on there, and you can have questions ready for me, and I'll just talk through it. The conversion rate went from 26% to 62% just by doing that. Just by doing that, you know.
Yeah,
And it makes it look more professional, more 5-star,
exactly.
and then you can justify your price.
I'm so excited on getting this little folder, this little thing printed with a little, and you open it and you've got a little letter opening, you know, thank you for choosing, whatever it may be. Some nice pictures of your project. Like you say, I know my workmanship is 5-star. I know it. Like, I thrive on it. Now, you know, it tickles my pickle. I love it. But now I need to have those things in place to be able to live a comfortable and profitable life. It's not, I'll be just stuck on the tools the rest of my life, and my wife doesn't want that. So end of story.
And this is what brought Nick on board, is that going back to the previous conversation about having staff. So everyone knows that you need to deliver the end-to-end service, that the clients pay a certain amount of money for the garden, the product. They expect that. That's not what gets spoken about. What gets spoken about is that you were clean, you were in uniform, you weren't there's no materials in the way. They had such an easy kind of easy process, easy experience. But why engage Nick was the back house stuff, was making sure all the numbers, ordering materials, everything is more kind of finesse on there's a time management, all that sort of stuff. So I think that's the if maybe Nick, maybe if you could explain there might be a kind of a little bit of a woo-woo around business coaches, and maybe skepticism.
Woo-woo around business coaches.
Not woo-woo, but skepticism. From my experience working with you, it's generally I wouldn't endorse anyone that I didn't trust. It's been amazing, and you're generally a really lovely guy, and I'd recommend anyone looking to enhance their business. I guess possibly maybe 2 questions. Why did people have such a bad light on business coaches, and then maybe flip it around and kind of say what?
I think we're Brits, and Brits are born skeptics, I think. And you go to America, and it's like, yeah, man, coaching. You know, they always embrace it. But England, when I started in 2007, and a lot of people hadn't even heard of business coaching. What's that? Oh, business coaching. What's that? But I saw one of the comments on here when I first tried to join first time, said, "Oh, I had a business coach, or got a business coach, best thing I ever did," something like that. But people don't know what business coaching is. No. So you try to explain to someone, but if you just want more money and you want to build a business that works without you, if that's what you want, or that is, you have the choice whether you go to work or you don't, or you can go on holiday for 2 or 3 months in the summer, then if you've got a job in your business and you don't know how to get away from that, then you need to seek that knowledge out. Either read loads of books or do some online courses or get a business coach. But otherwise, it's going to be a painful, slow journey. You know, a business coach is someone that holds you accountable, and at every stage will give you the education you need with whatever you need to learn along the way. And I think if you understand an industry, that helps, but it's not essential. You can get business coaches. Any good business coach will be able to coach a landscape company and any other company. I've done all sorts of industries, and most business coaches do, because the principles are exactly the same. Whether you're a hairdresser, an accountant, a landscaper, it's the generalized principles are the same, but they're just applied differently. I just think people, if they don't know what they don't know, you can't make a decision on it. But why is it that the most successful business in the world generally have business coaches or consultants? A lot of it's for accountability, because who's telling the boss what to do? You're telling everyone else, but who's holding you accountable? Who's educating you? Who's making sure that you're doing the extra laps? It's just like having a coach or a personal trainer. If you get a personal trainer, then it's the accountability. And that day when I can't be bothered to go to the gym, you're never going to achieve what you could achieve unless you have someone kicking your ass in a nice way and making you do the right things in the right areas for prolonged periods of time. And if you do those things, if you do the right things in the right areas for long enough, you'll be guaranteed success. Trouble is, people try and do it themselves and use their own trial and error. They fall down the pitfalls, which sometimes can be either costly in time, money, relationships, mental health, and money, and life's too short to keep making mistakes when someone else has already done it. So it's not a cost. Business coaching is not a cost if you do it right, because I don't want to be a cost to any of my clients. And after a period of time, whether it be 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, I'm looking to have paid for my whole year's fee within those few months, because the whole purpose is to improve your business, to make you more money, and so that the business coaching becomes irrelevant. The cost of business coaching now. So I've got one client who's 10 years been with me. Last month was our 10-year anniversary, and I think you know who he is, but I won't mention him. And yeah, at the beginning, my fees were, that's a lot of money. Now, when he was doing, 1.3 million, now he's doing 4.5, 5 million. I kept the fee the same. It's nothing. It's like minimal. So, but I understand at the beginning, a lot of companies can't afford one-to-one business coaching. They can't afford it. And that's fine, but there's group options. There's much more affordable ways to be able to do it. It's just the same knowledge. It's like if you can't afford a personal trainer, go in a group class. Yeah, you won't quite get that attention, but you'll still get the accountability. You'll still be through doing that with other people, but it's much more affordable. When you do a group, you can graduate up to one-to-one to speed that journey up. So there's something for everyone.
I feel like a business coach is kind of, it's not a fast track, because nothing's fast track, but you're kind of fast tracking all the like you say, the mistakes that you make on your own. So, it's definitely something to consider, because if your business can afford it, you're in a position where you're growing. So, and if you want to grow more, you have to make those investments in some ways. If it's new tools, a new van, you're growing your fleets, or you're doing this. So, I think it's all about making those choices and where we want to invest. I mean, the customer, and like you were saying just a minute ago, Nick, on anyone, a business coach can teach any businesses. So going back on my customer just now, the amount of little tips and tricks, because he's a business owner, you can, just by opening your ears as well. If you can't afford a business coach, fine, but just by opening your mind and stop being stubborn and stop being like, well, I've done it 10 years, so who's gonna teach me how to do it? I've been doing all right for 10 years. You know what I mean? I think people have that mentality of shutters on. I know what I'm doing. I'm a great craftsman. Who's this guy going to teach me? You know what I mean? So I think people need to kind of let their pride go.
Yes, egos. Yeah.
We're all here to learn. I'm learning how to do my craft on Instagram. I'm learning tricks. I mean, some people are sharing beautiful stuff. But if you open your mind and say, okay, I've done this 10 years. I think I could have done better if I maybe opened my ears a bit more. Do you know what I mean?
It's like Adam said, if someone in the industry that gave him that tip, and you've been in the industry 30 years, if you learn from other people, model yourselves on successful people, and try and copy what they've done, let other people's mistakes, because it can be expensive. You can avoid making some of those painful mistakes. But I think just people are often too busy, and they say, no, I just want to keep working. And it's sort of busy fool territory. And when you actually,
but that's the thing with
to do something about it.
With the personal trainer analogy, which I think you might have nicked, was that it's just someone that's accountable. Someone that you have to, like you said, when you're on the bench, you've got to do one more rep. And I can't be bothered. But you've got the personal trainer there. It's like, just do 2 more. And what Nick does with me is that it's someone that I'm like, oh, I've got to see Nick on Tuesday. Ah, shit, have I done this? Yeah. Whereas if without that, it's not just someone that's going, oh, Adam, you're amazing. It's someone that, if you haven't done this, I'm not going to coach you. It's just like, I'm not going to coach you. Go find someone else. And this is the thing. It's just, it gives you the extra oomph. Not that I'm in any way like like that, because I'm not. I'm 100 miles an hour, as Nick knows. But it's having someone that I know. Okay, I've got the bi-weekly meeting. I've got to have this, otherwise I can't. It's just having that accountability, which just pushes you to the.
It's funny when I used to do a lot of work with Lloyd's Bank and a lot of their clients, and even like the relationship managers, and the chap I was really close with there, really, he became quite a good friend of mine actually, Simon. He said, "You're like a personal trainer for business, aren't you?" I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, people, if you go to a personal trainer, they say, right, what do you want to achieve?" And they say, right, well, in the next 3 months, I want to lose 2 stone. Okay, well, if you want to do that, this is the plan. This is what you have to eat. This is what you have to not eat and drink. And I want to see you face to face for a one-to-one session with me once a week. In between that time, you need to go to the gym 3 times. Here's your program. This is what you need to do. I guarantee you, if you do these things and you come to these sessions every week, you will lose what you want to lose. You will achieve that goal. And he said, so you do the same with business, don't you? So this is where I want to be. Okay, well, if you want to do that, this is how long it's going to take. This is what you need to have in place. This is, you need one-to-one coaching, and you need to come to the planning days every 90 days. And I'll teach you how to do that and give you the techniques, give you the plan, and hold you accountable. And it's the same kind of analogy. So most people get that. So it's simple to understand. And those people that do value the gym and value that accountability, and maybe there's people who are on this live, maybe have had a personal coach, a personal trainer, or they do group sessions. And when you don't, you probably let yourself off, because it's human nature to take the path of least resistance, isn't it? But if you're really committed and you're serious about achieving anything in your life, you do whatever it takes. If you're that serious and committed and you really want it. If you won't, if you don't want that, then you won't be a good client, because when it gets hard and you have to do the extra reps, you won't do it, and you go, "Oh, I had a business coach once, it was rubbish, didn't work." It's the same with a personal trainer. You think, "I had a personal trainer once," and then you're in the pub drinking 10 pints. "Oh, it's a load of rubbish, had a curry every Friday." It's not that it doesn't work, it's how committed you are to it and how serious you are to achieve the results you want to achieve for yourself, for your family, and for whatever reason. But it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, but for the right people, it is.
Yeah.
So for the right people, because I think we're getting close to the end. What would be the first three steps for someone completely as a business owner, landscaping or business? What are the first 3 steps in order for them to improve? What will be the first 3 things they should do today?
I think the very first thing, which is free, or very, very cheap, is to read or listen to the E-Myth. Educate yourself first, because you'll see yourself in that book, as you know, Els, from you, Adam. You say, yeah, that's me. And the amount of people that say to me, "Oh my God, that book could have been written for me." That's me. I've made that mistake. I've done that. And it's like holding a mirror up to that book. And you think, "Oh my God, if I'd have known this." And I've had people say this to me after being in business 20 years, and I start coaching them. Said, "If I bloody knew that stuff, if I read that book 20 years ago, I'd be retired by now. I wouldn't have made all those costly errors. I wouldn't have lost my first marriage. All that kind of stuff." So I think first of all is education.
So number one's E-Myth.
Number one's E-Myth. I think number 2, Els, we said, I think on Friday at Pro Landscaper, about doing some kind of free webinar, and I'm happy to do that. Like an hour webinar, if anyone wants to come away, it'll be totally free. We'll maybe book a time, and in addition to the E-Myth bit, I'll then apply it to a seminar that I've done over 100 times, and you'll learn so much on that about what the steps are to build a business. And I suppose the third step is getting help, not necessarily just with me. There's business coaches all over the country. I've only got so much capacity for one-to-ones. I've got about 20 one-to-one clients now, and I've got a new coach that's in training at the moment who's going to be coming to work within my firm, because I'm up to fairly close to capacity. But we've got other options coming. We've got a group coaching program that's going to be launched next month. And it's like 400 quid a month for 3 months. And that's it.
On the phone, and we touch on that because obviously, the cost and stuff like that. But it's some young landscapers that could really benefit from.
It's perfect for the smaller, the ones that are, turning over less than 250, 300. Yeah. That's what it's designed for. So you get the core foundational knowledge, education, and with that, your business will improve. You'll start making better decisions, therefore you'll take better actions. You'll then get better results because you're taking better actions. So I think that's the place to start for a lot of people, because I think people don't know where to go, or they think, oh, 1,500, £2,000 a month for one-to-one coaching. Oh, it's too much, and they don't have the time to do the work in between the sessions because they're so busy working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So, but at some point, you've got to do something differently if you want different results. But that new group coaching program that hasn't been launched yet, but it will be, I think it is looking like May time. If not, it'll be definitely June. And that's designed for people, for business owners that want to get better, but it's affordable. It's £100 a week it works out for 12 weeks. And I personally think it's going to be a phenomenal course because the founder of Action Coach is doing the training. So you basically do a half an hour video, watch a half an hour video of him teaching you this stuff. And he's a billionaire, Brad Sugars, and has built and sold, I don't know, 50 odd companies over the years. Action Coach turns over about $1 billion in itself. But it works. And he's just putting all that knowledge broken down into 12 weekly half an hour videos. And then I facilitate a call with all the people on, answering any questions, saying, what actions did you take from what you've learned? How did you do it? What challenges did you have? And what about someone else? How did you do it? So you learn a lot from each other, and it builds a nice sense of community. And if it's all landscapers, you understand it. So you help each other on the.
You would do like a little private WhatsApp group after.
Yeah, I've got that with my current group. I've got existing clients in a 12-week management one at the moment. I've got the live call tomorrow morning, and we've got a WhatsApp group. So any announcements,
because people can talk about, like, yeah, I've really struggled with this, but I'm pushing this more. I mean, it's a bit like social media. I get a lot of questions from other landscapers. Like, I've had some questions. How do you charge VAT? How like basic stuff.
Yeah, well, you don't wake up knowing that stuff, do you? You don't just know that stuff.
No, exactly.
Isn't it? There's so much to learn. You're so brilliant at what you do. But who's ever taught you how to do a tax return, or how to reconcile your bank, or even becoming VAT registered? How to charge VAT? It's basic, but it's only basic when you sort of know how to do it. It's difficult. It's like anything's confusing when you don't know how to do it. As soon as you learn how to do it, you go, oh, that's easy, I know that now.
Exactly. But I think it's a lot of people who own businesses that kind of, a bit like the email, they start a business, they fall into it a little bit because they've got this love and passion for what they do. And suddenly, oh shit, I'm a business owner, and I need to, it's a bit like this.
What do you do now? You blag it. A lot of people, have to sort of
day-to-day thinking,
them, and they don't know the answer. Yeah.
Oh well, this was amazing, super valuable. I think people, we are going to. I think this is going to be. It needs to be. I think it's going to be my favourite one. I have to say, I've enjoyed all the podcasts.
Don't say that. You're pushing for your other.
I'm an open book. I should write a book. But it's been really valuable. I think, like Adam was saying, the reason why we're doing this is because it's like a nice place for people that do landscaping or garden or design. And this, I think, what you've shared, your knowledge tonight, Nick, I think. When people watch back on the videos, they're really gonna value that. So thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure. I've got my own podcast, as you know. It's different to this one, but it's called the Grow Landscapers podcast. Not that I'm plugging it. We're not in competition. It's just the reason why I started it is because it's to help people. Probably people that have been on this call, people is to learn from the best people in the industry. So I've had everyone. I've had Mark Gregory on there.
That Mark Gregory. If anyone wants to listen to a really good one, Mark Gregory's one was really good.
Really good. They're all really good. It's not just landscapers. There's suppliers. You got Jim Wilkinson owns Pro Landscape. You got Wayne Grills, chairman or CEO of Barley. People that have won multiple Barley Awards, APL Awards, Chelsea Flower Shows. I mean, Mark's won 107 gold medals at Chelsea. I mean, unbelievable. And I just set up to say, right, what have you done? What would your tips be? What were your challenges? What's your biggest mistakes? What are the biggest lessons? What advice would you give to someone who's here and they want to get to here? Honestly, it's gold dust. You just go there, just listen to it for free. It's on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is amazing. I think it really, really is. People.
What's nice about the lives as well is that the comments, we've had a lot of really interesting comments.
Really? Is there any questions? Is there time for questions, or do anyone want?
You can press it. No. People, we need to ask for them to ask questions. I think we always forget. We kind of get carried away.
I could talk about business forever. You know,
I think it's the same. Adam and me are really passionate about landscaping, and Adam has brought this love of business that I probably was put to one side for a long time. And I think it's just bringing something nice to the table. But on this note, how did you guys end on that pro landscape? Because what an evening! I left, I think, at a safe point. Even Nick, you said, my wife was like, I was stay. And I was like, no, I'm going now.
Yeah. Before
it ends too bad. And I'm not from the city.
Yeah.
I'm going to get lost in London with big buildings I'm not used to. I'm from the countryside.
Well, how we ended up? Well, I actually judged. Did my third year judging those awards, and I just got invited back for next year, and it's a real absolute privilege doing it. I judged Adams before I knew him.
Oh, that's amazing.
And he won a brilliant award. And also one another of our clients. I think they may be on. I think I saw Gemma or Mark on this from Landscapia. I actually had to send it back to Pro Landscape. So they're a client of mine. I can't do it. It's a conflict of interest, but they won it anyway, which is amazing. And I wouldn't say that's anything to do with me because we only started in January. So they've had a great business, got a great business before. It's just going to be better now. But yeah, we left. I think we left at a sensible time. I thought, I can't be there with clients. Getting we had a few didn't we? We had a bit of a bromance going on.
Oh, we had a lovely night. Before you go, we had a nice comment from Justin, JJH. Nick, what did you do before business coaching?
It goes back a long way. I mean, my family business was from the 60s and 70s, was the largest privately owned tarmacking business in the UK. And so my family had 330 people. I'm not like gypsy or anything. They're just, that's what everyone says to me. Everyone has said that to me all my life, right? And then,
collecting fridges and freezers and metal.
Bring out all your stuff. So no, he had about 330 people directly on the book. So from a baby born into that, we always been very, very privileged. I went to prep school, went to private school. We had everything you could wish for. And then I went to university. I did a business studies degree at Brunel. Left Brunel. My first job after Brunel was in marketing. So I went to work for Orange. It's now called EE for some reason. So I worked there. I was in product marketing, then channel marketing. So that's like retail marketing for anyone that doesn't know. And then I left there, went to O2. But when I was sitting in my office at Orange and O2, there was three things I asked myself, because I thought, right, how do I make a difference to people's lives? How can I make them rich? Transform their lives, make them rich, but make myself rich at the same time. I thought, when I was asking myself that question for like 2 or 3 years, and I was sitting at my desk looking at people going, what am I doing here? I'm not making a difference to the world. I was one of 14,000 employees at Orange, and I thought, my God, my dad spent 150 grand on my education, and I'm just sitting here. I'm not making a difference to people's lives. And it's just this burning thing that kept coming back to me. So I left. I was buying, renovating, selling houses. I've fitted kitchens. I've carpeted stairs and rooms, and I've done all that. Really practical, because my background, my family background is construction and tarmac and building and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not afraid of all that. So I understand the practicalities of landscaping. And then after a while of doing that, my ex at the time, her friend had a business coach, had an action coach, and she came back from a meeting. She'd been out to lunch with us. She said, "You need to do this. Is what you've been looking for. This is what you've been looking for. Yeah. This is you all over." And I was the second youngest action coach in the world when I went for my training in 2007. And honestly, it's the best thing. It's the best job in the world. When you genuinely take someone from struggling where they don't see their kids, they can't go on holiday, they've got no money, and you transform that to the opposite of that. It's a lovely, selfish job to have.
It's kind of great job
It's the
satisfaction,
best
isn't it?
job in the world.
Yeah.
You're changing people's lives, and you're making them happier, less stressed, more money, more time with their friends, more time with their family, more time to do experiences, more money to be able to do better things, you know, so they're not scrimping and saving and struggling. But, you know, that's why I don't want to have to convince anyone to work with me, but I want them to want more. And if they really want it, then they're prepared to do the work. You know, I'll get them there if they have the patience. And you said something earlier about, you know, it's not a get rich quick scheme or something like that. And it's not. I say to everybody, and I probably said it to you, Adam, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. If you want life-changing results in a year, I'm not your person, because it's not possible. But if you want long-term sustainable results that transform your life, we could get you there. Depending on where you are now, you could be there within 5 years. And in your life, 5 years is not really a big, long time, but it's not easy, but it's a simple process, but it's not easy.
No, I love that. I mean, like you were saying, it's not, you know, a sprint. I've been doing it 10 years. So 5 years, I had another 5 years of doing things right. Now I know my product's amazing. 5 years is nothing. It goes like that.
Well, it does. It flies by. Sadly, it does. And the older you get, you're only young. I'm 47 now. I'm 48 in August, and it does. It felt like yesterday I was 30. You know, and it's just ridiculous. And people say to you, "Oh, when you get in your 20s, it flies by." Think about how quickly your 20s went. Everyone says to you, your 30s go quicker, and then they say, then your 40s go quicker.
I think
it feels like I was 40 about 2 years ago. It's ridiculous.
You put 2 kids in the mix and it goes so much quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam will know because he had him when he was 10. So
yeah. We won't talk about that one. Yeah.
But man, since I've had kids, time has just gone so freaking fast. I think kids, a business, you know, love your work, have that as a passion. And because the days are I enjoy what I do, so they go so fast, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to be old before I know it. But here we go.
That's why you know, you can't waste time. You can't waste time. Once it's gone, you know, money can be made and spent and made again. Once you spent your time, it's gone forever.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up.
Brilliant.
And I want to thank you again, Nick.
Thanks for the
it's been really good. So you'll find this podcast live on Adam's Spotify channel.
And your YouTube.
And my YouTube.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
For people that haven't watched...
Almost didn't happen.
Oh, we got there.
Almost didn't happen. So
good job you suggested, do an update. But I've not had anything saying needs updating, but that was the thing. But there we go. We got there.
Thank you so much.
We're done.
Cool. Thank you for everyone watching. Bye-bye.
It's a pleasure. Take care. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, just us two. Just me.